today is a historic day because we're seeing both in real time with the president's remarks and also through documentary evidence his corruption, certainly in terms of what he's tried to do to undermine the free electoral process in this country. We see his temperament in an extreme perhaps even greater than we've ever seen before in terms of his remarks talking about treason and executing people. And remember the other day he was talking about the electric chair. That must have been on his mind for the past few days. So we're watching tooth and unraveling in front of us, both factually and also temperamentally in terms of the conduct of the President of the United States. And why? Well, partly because the President of the United States recognizes that there is in this whistleblower's documents terrible evidence of the President's corruption, of his willingness to undermine the free electoral system in this country, to involve foreign powers in our election, and also to try and get involved at the President's behest or with the Attorney General's connivance, the Attorney General who is trying meanwhile to bring about proof that there is a deep state conspiracy that led to the Mueller investigation. That's what some of these comments in the whistleblower's remarks are
let's
about.
get to that.
Some of what the President is talking about when he's saying, oh, I want you to talk to Barr. Barr is trying to deliver, and I have this, as do other reporters from other sources, to deliver evidence that perhaps this has all been a deep state conspiracy, just like Donald Trump alleges.
You're calling on Attorney General Barr to recuse himself. I just want to play an exchange between you and Barr from a hearing in May, because it's taken on even greater weight right now. Let's listen.
Has the President or anyone at the White House ever asked or suggested that you open an investigation of anyone? Yes or no, please, sir?
The President or anybody else?
Seems you would remember something like that and be able to tell us.
Yeah, but I'm trying to grapple with the word suggest. I mean, there have been discussions of matters out there that they have not asked me to open an investigation, but...
Perhaps they've suggested?
I don't know. I wouldn't say suggest.
Hinted?
I don't know.
Inferred? You don't know? Okay.
Do you want to get him back in that seat to answer that under oath?
Yes, and that's what I'm calling for, that Attorney General Barr would come back before the United States Congress. We have a duty to conduct oversight, and including into whether the Attorney General of the United States has been requested by the President of the United States to engage in what would be unlawful conduct, which is to use the resources of the United States Department of Justice for the political gain of the President of the United States. So yes, I strongly believe that Attorney General Barr should come back before Congress and answer this question under oath. Because Anderson, as you know, for a large part of my career, I was a prosecutor. I was the Attorney General of California for 2 terms, where I ran the second largest Department of Justice in the United States, second only to the United States Department of Justice. And there is so much about all of this that has been about really an attack on the integrity of our system of democracy, in particular our elections process, and our system of justice. And those people who are compromising the integrity of these systems, they must be held to account. So that's why I think he should come before us and he should tell us what's going on.
Senator Kamala Harris, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
There is so much flagrancy on that phone call. You can argue about what level of abuse it is and whether it rises to high crime and misdemeanor based on what we know right now. I think that's fine. Right. I think you can do the same thing with the Bidens, frankly, and Hunter Biden and talk about ethical considerations. It's fine. I think it's also false equivalence. But the idea to hear them at all at this point, I think, is a reflection of how wild that phone call is and the suggestions of how long they worked with how many different tentacles to get to that point of that call to begin with.
Well, it's interesting. I saw your interview with, I can't remember the congressman who's
Chris
on.
Stewart?
Yes, Chris Stewart, earlier. And it's just shocking to me, listen, I'm nothing personal against him, but how he can condone one and not condone the other and saying one is worse than the other when the investigation wasn't even going on, when Hunter Biden was part of the company, and then it was done by the time it was, I mean, it's just, I don't understand it.
You see the clips of Lindsey Graham back during Clinton and now?
Of course, of course.
That's how you understand it.
Yeah. Well,
Same guy, totally different supply in terms of what they're on that's motivating their arguments. And look, we've seen it work both ways. That's why people are so frustrated, Don. That's why they expect so little. That's why the truth matters so much.
Yeah. The concern, though, is that can we, even in the face of all the evidence that you see in the phone call and you see the whistleblower's report, when you see the report and the call and people see two different things, I don't know if people see two different things or they want to see two different things, regardless of however those metrics work. We still live in a country that is extremely divided. And in my 27 years on this planet, I have never seen us this. You didn't catch that, did you? The 27 years, you heard me. I've never seen it like this. I've always seen a division between right and left, but not this divide, this crevasse that we're seeing right now.
Well, look, here's what we
need.
And
you come from a political family. You know this. It's never been like this.
I mean, look, it depends on which period you're talking about. Obviously, we've gone through so much worse than where we are right now. But in recent history, this president has really pulled at the fabric of what holds us together in this country. He just has. He's playing to advantage in ways we haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. But look, the rules still have to apply. I think the Democrats, some of them are in a hurry right now, and I don't understand why. You have to get the answers to the questions that we outlined in the closing. If you can show that this president had people from the State Department working with Rudy and people were working with Ukraine and giving them certain expectations for how they would get meetings and friendship from the president of the United States. And you had people lying to Congress about why they were holding up money and people secreting the transcripts into a different directory so they couldn't be discovered easily. Now you're talking about a systemic abuse of power over months that is flagrant and egregious. Yeah. And I think you're in a different place. I don't know that you're there right now.
Entonces, esto que en Estados Unidos llama la atención, quizás desde una perspectiva latinoamericana llama menos la atención. Lo que es una cuestión que va desde el cálculo político a los principios también. Es un ataque claro a las instituciones. Este presidente, los que pudimos, o sea, si se lee la transcripción parcial de la conversación, digamos, está hablando más, diría, como un jefe más mafioso y no como una persona que representa al ejecutivo de una institución con tantos años, ¿no?
Ahora bien, ¿qué impacto tendrá este escándalo político en la candidatura de Joe Biden? Por un lado, el presidente lo está ungiendo como su principal enemigo y también lo quiere involucrar en un caso de supuesta corrupción. ¿Cómo va a salir parado Joe Biden de este episodio, a tu juicio?
Bueno, digamos, el país está muy dividido, entonces seguramente, es decir, lo que estamos hablando es que los que quizás cambien de posición sean un 3-4% de los votantes. La mayor parte de los votantes demócratas que van a votar a Biden o a quien sea para ir en contra de Trump, al que se ve como, digamos, como un personaje escandaloso, como un personaje que, como decía, en típica clave populista desprecia las instituciones, van a seguir votando por Biden o por quien sea el candidato. Es decir, lo que Trump está intentando es, me parece a mí, es no perder, digamos, ese pequeño electorado, esa pequeña diferencia en el electorado que le permitió ganar el colegio electoral. Digamos, lo que se trata es de muy poca gente y quizás en estados, digamos, en pocos estados, ¿no?